They're just pulling away serenely with Switzerland now just the best part of 5 seconds behind. New Zealand 11 seconds behind. They've yet to make their stops, and in fourth place India still yet to make its stop.
Well, into the pits comes our race leader. It's France, who will now be hoping for a clean stop. Will they get it? Here comes the French team. They go to work. We have not seen very many clean stops. Now then, can France show how it should be done? They're allowed an extra man to pull the wheels out of the way. That's okay. He's allowed to do that. But on each wheel, there must be only one man. 3, 4. Great stop.
Oh, he stalled. No, he hasn't. He got it. We thought he'd stalled the engine. That is how it should be done. A superb stop from Team France, and that's put Nicolas Lapierre in a very strong position, because we have got to see yet Switzerland, New Zealand and India, they've all got to make their stops for this mandatory pit stop. But good stop from Team France, and that surely has got to be enough to put them into a very, very strong position with some 20 laps to go.
It can be done then. It can be done without a problem. Now the pressure's on Switzerland, running second at the moment. And, of course, leading now with France coming in. So Switzerland in the lead of this race. They've still got to make their pit stop, running a little wide, but that's okay. That's the standard line out of that corner. And I wonder how long they're going to wait now. The Netherlands versus Japan. This is for position. This is for 10th place. Jos Verstappen just ahead of Hideki Noda.
Yes, and Hideki Noda wasn't too keen to let that 10th place slip away, as Jos Verstappen had to go very defensive.
Now, behind these guys, we've got Brazil in 12th place. Nelson Piquet Jr. running in 12th position. And Germany down in 18th place. 18th place for poor Timo Scheider after that dreadful, dreadful stop earlier on. There are 20 laps to go. And Germany, one of the big losers, Malaysia, they're down in 19th place after their miserable time in the pits as well. But on the other hand, people who have gained, people like Great Britain.
New Zealand, Team New Zealand, running in second place. They make their way down the pit lane. So they're fully aware of all the problems other teams have had. They've seen what France can do. That's what they need to do. Comes to a halt. Team run out. Jack's under the front of the car. Jack's under the back of the car. Get the wheels off. Make sure those air guns. It's a clean as Team France comes round. And, well, we would see after the timing and scoring has cleared what position France is in.
Now, how's this stop going? It's looking good. It's looking good stop for New Zealand. And he's on his way. India's also in the pits at the same time.
But France did get past before Team New Zealand came out of the pit lane, so that's certainly a position that New Zealand is not going to make up. But they were running in third place, and that's where they would hope to consolidate once. We're still waiting for India to make... Well, India, in fact, is now in there. We are. Team India making their pit stop. We don't know how long it was, but it looked pretty good. It looks, whoa, we're going to spin the car in the pit lane.
Nearly. And big black lines laid down by the rear slick tyres on that car.
But, I mean, what opportunity for India. They've got themselves into position. They've had a good pit stop. We see there it's Piquet and Czech Republic.
Yeah, and those two are racing for 12th place. So, is he going to let him through? Well, that would be for position, I'm sure. So Karen Chandok's got to be careful here, coming right out in the middle of the battle, and Piquet pouncing straight away there and taking advantage of it. And there we are on board the Czech Republic car. He's also going to try and do likewise. Thomas Enger is going to nip past, surely on the brakes here. Yeah, Chandok has to give him the way.
Yes, they're out of their tyres are at running temperature. Chandok coming out tyres that have been warm, but you know, the car feels different when you've come out in a fresh set of tyres. Piquet did the right thing. He was forceful. He took advantage of Chandok's exit, got past. Thomas Enger had a bigger problem with the Czech Republic, because by the time they got onto the straight, then Chandok and Team India could run at speed. As we see, Team Italy looks like their day is also finally ended.
Great Britain is in good shape here. They have made their pit stop very early on, if you remember. They were one of the first to come in. They're currently running in 6th place, but there's still a couple of cars ahead of them to make their stop. In fact, 3rd place is being shown for Great Britain now, because Austria has just been into the pits. Great Britain in 3rd place as Neil Yarni continues to lead for Switzerland. He is the only one now to make his pit stop.
But he has only got a 35-second advantage to come into the pits, make that pit stop, get back out again, and that's assuming everything goes smoothly, because France is in 2nd place. The advantage of entering the pits here, of course, is you cut out going round turn 12, 13 and 14, so it's a good entry into the pit lane, but nevertheless 35 seconds advantage is not an awful lot to work with, bearing in mind the length of the pit lane and the speed limit in the pit lane itself.
Well, the pressure will be on the Swiss team, won't it, when he comes into the pits finally. How much longer will they leave it? They can leave it as long as they like. They can leave it to virtually the last lap if they want to. It's their choice as to when to come into the pits. But you've got to bear in mind that the tyres might be starting to get a little worn, and they might want to put a better set of tyres on, otherwise the lap times won't be quite quick enough. So he's got to be aware of that as well. France are running second at the moment. Great Britain are third. What a turnaround. Remember, Great Britain started this race from the very, very back of the grid, and Robbie Kerr is currently in third place, as you can just see those shots of Switzerland. Neil Yarni pushing very hard. Austria has been into the pits. There is Great Britain, and watch out here, because there's some other cars he's got to be wary of behind him. Canada is running in the next place behind. He's running in fourth, and New Zealand in fifth place. So you can see how that early stop for Robbie Kerr for Great Britain has worked, because it's got them ahead of New Zealand, and they've been up front throughout this race.
And the other advantage of stopping early is that everything on the car is cooler. So maybe the problems that we have seen in the pit lane are a consequence of everything being very, very much hotter. So by going in early, the ploy of doing it may have been the benefit of running your car into the pits, everything not quite at the heat it would be after you're doing maybe some 20 or so laps.
Well, it was a superb stop by the British team. I looked down into the pit lane when that group of cars came in on the first opportunity they had. By the time I looked down again, the British car was the only one that had left, and everyone else was still working on their car. So it was a brilliant stop, just as Brands Hatch showed. The British team seems to be king of the wheel changes at the moment, but we're riding here on board New Zealand. They're running in fifth place, and Johnny Reid could be on for some very useful points.
But he's got a very determined Sean McIntosh ahead of him, Team Canada, and we've seen how aggressive and, you know, just a good racer that Sean McIntosh is. So these two drivers, New Zealand and Canada, it's a battle for position, and well, Reid letting the car run very wide. You can see how much slide now is evolving as the race progresses. We're some 16 laps to go. So pressure coming from New Zealand and Johnny Reid. Sean McIntosh not really being terribly concerned, more of a focus on what's going on ahead of him with Robbie Kerr and Team GB.
Ireland have come up to sixth place despite some dramas earlier on. Indonesia seventh, Netherlands eighth, Japan ninth, and Brazil in 10th place. And Lebanon has had a spin, and that's Khalil Bashir. He's running in 20th position, but he's had a spin. It looks fairly minor. Doesn't look as though any damage has been done.
Well, they came down again. The corner has caught out a number of drivers at the end of the start. Well, beginning of the start, end of the start, finish straight, spins it round through 360 and stops really in the middle of the track. And if you're turning off pit straight into turn one, you see a car stuck there. Not a pleasant sight.
No, maybe getting a little bit weary at this stage in the race. 16 laps to go. That looked like a little lack of concentration, or perhaps a weariness coming in. Yeah,
he certainly was way, way past his braking distance. No chance of getting the car slowed down. The gap between first and second has reduced from 35 seconds to just 33.9. So
in the pits.
Yes, very sensible. You've got to get in. He must come in, and he has done so, because any time spent on the track now, his tyres are going to show signs of getting tired. Well, you've got a fresh set of tyres on Team France, and they're doing laps now quicker than we're seeing from Team Switzerland.
This is the crucial moment of the race then. India stopped. India has stopped, and they were running in 12th place, so something's gone wrong for Team India. The steering wheel's off. He's going to be out of this race. But this is the crucial stop now for Team Switzerland. Can they get back out ahead of France? I think it's unlikely, but let's watch and see what happens.
Well, Team France are coming into turn 12 now as the Swiss team go to work, get these wheels and tyres changed into turn 13. So now it's flat out all the way through 14. Problem on the left.
No,
right
no,
rear.
the wheel nut fell out of the socket, but actually it's pretty good. But it's the left rear that's causing a few little problems.
It's going to be France is going to take the lead as he comes across start-finish line. Now Nicolas Lapierre takes the lead again, as he pretty much has done throughout the day, other than into the pit stop. And again,
finally, they get it done. They get it done. Are they going to send him on his way? Yes. I tell you what, though, this will mean Great Britain will take second place, because Switzerland have lost a lot of time in the pits.
Yes, and also Great Britain, Canada, New Zealand have all gone through. Ireland not that far behind either. So disappointment for Neil Yarni and Team Switzerland. There you see the Team India car stop almost at the end of the pit lane. So Neil Yarni, Team Switzerland, drops all the way down from that comfortable, well, it was a lead, but it was actually a second place in reality once all the pit stops have been shaken out.
I think he's down to about 6th or 7th. I think I could just see Indonesia behind him. It means that France is the race leader. They're back in front. Great Britain are in second position. Canada are third. New Zealand is fourth. Ireland is 5th, and Indonesia, I'm not sure if they managed to, I think they're still in 7th because I think Switzerland's got out in 6th.
But the group of cars from 3rd all the way down to 6th, which are Great Britain, Canada, New Zealand and Ireland, are very, very close together. There's about a second and a bit